Hey, well, welcome to the late night chat, where we're kind of reading Darwin Shaw's Effort and Grace. Welcome to some of the regulars and some of the irregulars and some of the normals and abnormals. um, so I was thinking, uh, it actually, JCM, if you can post that, display that, yeah, and I've asked if Goer will read it.
Sure. Sure, I don't mind, Jeff. Um, the topic today is the tentacles of consciousness. Dear folks of Baba, in the first part of this chapter, Giving Our All, Darwin talks about stages of becoming aware of our heart center. And the second part is about giving its content of desires, emotions, and deeper feelings to Baba. Our massive load of impressions or sanskaras that we have accumulated over eons of time are the byproduct of our journey to develop full consciousness. These impressions, as necessary as they were, form a vast and elaborate scaffolding, so to speak, surrounding and hiding the glorious mansion of our own soul. Our consciousness is woefully enamored of this scaffolding and is unable for the longest time to see anything else. The mansion of the soul is only a theory or belief until, through divine grace, we catch a glimpse of its breathtaking splendor embodied by our beloved Baba. In order to see the soul, we have the formidable task of detaching our consciousness from our thoughts, desires, and emotions, from our addictive focus on the scaffolding itself. Darwin used the metaphor of an octopus's tentacles to describe how our consciousness is enmeshed in the world. He writes, like those sea creatures whose tentacles constantly float out, trolling for food, we extend unseen tentacles of consciousness into the gross world, seeking experiences. With our tentacles of consciousness, we are feverishly possessed with attaching to more and more experiences, not just in the world, but in the subtle and mental realms within. Our hunger for worldly knowledge and experience can be bottomless. Darwin, in his usual low-key fashion, encouraged us to first withdraw the tentacles of our awareness from being enmeshed in thoughts. With great effort, we learn to watch the trains of thought race by without jumping on board. We had taken trains of thought to the end of the line thousands upon thousands of times and been dropped off in the middle of nowhere. We learned that what we were looking for was definitely not in the mind. Over time, as we detached from the ticker tape of thoughts passing by, our awareness or consciousness was able to withdraw from the mind with its unending thoughts and drop down to the heart center and observe the desires, emotions, and deeper feelings at point blank range. We were surprised to find that awareness can actually be detached from the mind. That is, we are not thinking from the head about our heart below, but we experience the heart center with our awareness alone. As long as we are in our head, we are one remove away from the direct experience of the heart. We choose knowing with the intuition in the heart over the thinking with the mind. We discovered, however, that the river of desires, emotions, and the deeper feelings passing through us is often ranging and tumultuous, and it is difficult not to be pulled into its swift current and wind up 35 miles downstream. Withdrawing our awareness from the intense forces we found, is infinitely more difficult than detaching from thoughts. Fortunately, after decades of effort with Baba, we eventually achieve enough detachment so that we can begin to see through the scaffolding of sanskaras to the glorious mansion of the soul itself. As we withdraw from enmeshment in our thoughts, emotions, and desires, our consciousness, which we usually think of as a neutral space, begins to slowly fill up unexpectedly with the fragrance of Baba's love and light. That is, the intrinsic light and love of our consciousness is no longer darkened by being entrenched and buried in Maya. Baba, as Buddha, said that his one mistake, which he said he makes in each advent, was to assert that nirvana is the ultimate goal, emptiness, rather than nirvakalpa, the divine fullness. In 1956, in New York City, Baba said privately to the Shaw family, in part, "One must give everything to Baba if you really love him. He is in everything and everyone. You belong to him, so keep nothing to yourself. Give it all to Baba and be free. Give your whole self to Baba. Your pain and pleasure are Baba's pleasure. Give it all to Baba." How do you experience being aware of your thoughts, desires, emotions, and deeper feelings? What desires, emotions, and thoughts distract and pull you into their intensity? In his love, Jeff.
Well, I hope that makes sense. I mean, does that what I wrote make sense to you as a description of your internal process? I mean, there's so many different approaches, but this is kind of what I gathered in being around Darwin, and we probed him uh, all about this. But it's very difficult to put this kind of intangible realm into words. But one thing in there that I've been asked about is, can you really detach this idea of detaching awareness from being enmeshed in thought and it dropping down free of thought to follow the emotions, desires, and the deeper feelings? I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but that was kind of inherent in what Darwin used to kind of convey to us.
Can you give a real life example of that hierarchy?
Of the, um, in other words, if you track what's feeling at your heart level right now, you can't bring your mind down there. You have to go upstairs to use the mind. In other words, if you follow the sensation that's going through your body, say of anxiety or something like that, just with your awareness, you can see that you have to go up to think about that process. I don't know. Does that make sense? I mean, do you get that? Let me just kind of get the full thing here. Um, does
Jeff, can I give an example?
yeah.
I don't know if this will work, but maybe it will, because this is what pulls me into thinking. Is my family? If my family is suffering or in need, then I feel their need or sadness or anxiety or whatever, and then immediately I go to my head to try to figure out a solution. So that's where it could be stopped and then try to drop into how I feel before I act. Is that an example at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's good because what happens sometimes is if you can stay with the feeling a little longer or the emotion, you'll get a different response than what your mind will give you. If you stay at that level, you can get in an intuition about the situation rather than a theory or an idea or a strategy, a mental strategy about the situation. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to describe these things. Goer, what does that ring a bell with you at all?
Um, yes and no. I don't know how to put it into words. When you are thinking about something, obviously it's through the mind. So I'm not sure how to explain this, but uh, yeah, it's deep.
I mean, if you're feeling like real deep grief,
Yes,
I mean, the feeling is so much stronger than the thoughts you have about it. But you
correct.
do have to go up, and you go up almost to get away from the intensity.
Yes, yeah,
Like for example, if I say something that hurts your feelings, it's very hard to stay with the hurt. Immediately we go up in the head, and we start thinking, well, watch out for this guy. This guy hurt my feelings. So it gets all tied up with some retaliation or whatever, some opinion about me. But Rumi
yeah,
Rumi said that a lover of God is a wound without a shield, which is heavy duty. But so I think, Candy, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I did. I have a feeling about this that is fairly new over the last like years, which it's almost as if my heart is watching my mind, and what the feeling that I have when this goes on is uh that I'm in a cage of my own sanskaras and I know nothing. So when opinions start to form, things like that, I suddenly get a strong opinion about something or a feeling about somebody, I feel suddenly like I don't know anything. I know absolutely nothing. And because of that, that makes me want to give it to Baba because I have to go, Baba, I don't know anything. You know. You do it, you take it, do whatever with it, because I don't know anything. And I feel more and more like that. So whereas I used to be an extremely opinionated person, I'm less so now
Yeah,
because I feel just like Baba mentioned somewhere that the soul feels like it's in a cage. I feel like that. I feel like sometimes I feel like that. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling too, because it's like I said, it's like I feel like I'm in a cage of my own sanskaras. So I can't see anything as it really is. So I don't know if anybody has that, but
Well, there's several hands up now, Candy. Thank you.
yeah.
It's a good start. Diane.
Wow. Yeah. Diane or Terry?
Terry,
Diane, Terry, I'm sorry.
North.
I think that for me, when you were singing O Moon, it affects me the same way it affects Marion. And I think that that brings me right into my heart without any thoughts. And there's something to be said about that. It's just Baba.
Yeah, you're not using your mind to witness this. I'm saying what I'm saying is you're using your awareness is aware of what's going on in your heart,
In my heart.
kind of without the middleman of
Exactly.
the intellect there. Yeah,
Mhm. And
that's
it's a wonderful feeling, even though it can be painful sometimes. It's still amazing to just be in your heart
yeah,
and have no brain around it, just be in your heart.
yeah.
Makes
That's
me breathe.
yeah, that's the spirit right there. That's what you explained is kind of what I tried to get in words there. Yeah.
Virginia.
So I have two examples that popped into mind. First of all, I got irked at someone earlier today, and right away the irking kind of went to my mind about why what they were saying wasn't right and what they were doing wasn't right. And then I remembered Baba talking to the women Mandali and saying, "Get mad. I don't want you to not get mad, but then give the anger to me." And that sunk me right into my heart, where I felt all that frustration and anger, and then thought of Baba, and it dissolved to him. And then I also have an example of when I work with folks in the hospital, and I'm working with folks who are approaching death and dying. And of course, that's a very emotional and kind of heart-centered realm. And I'll find my body is doing something or my emotions are doing something, and I don't always know why or what. But if I sink down into that, then sometimes I'll hear something that I should say in that moment, and it unlocks something for them.
And it is coming from your heart. And
Mhm.
I know Bob Arnava says that understanding is in the heart. It's not up in the head.
Yeah.
You
And it's
know.
intuition that
Yeah.
when you're in the heart, then you do sometimes hear things too, but it's different from the head speak.
Yeah. Excellent.
Ron, are you next, Ron? Yeah.
Yeah, I had an experience a couple of weeks ago. A fellow came by who wanted to sell my wife Lisa and I on an idea of having solar panels placed on a roof of our house and a big storage battery, which and I won't go into all the details, but as it was described, it sounded pretty good. I mean, all the numbers were there. He was going to save, if we signed up, it would save us some money according to the calculations and all that. And so, but we didn't want to sign anything, right on the spot. That's just a habit we have. So I said, get back to us later. So a couple of days later, I had also called in and said, could you get somebody who I could talk to and ask questions of and see their experience of if they had your system so that we would have a better idea on how to judge whether or not we wanted to do it. So that night before I was going to get this call from this person, uh, I couldn't sleep very well, and it was just preying on my mind in some kind of vague way. It's just like, do I want to do something this major to the house, even though I didn't have to? There was no outlay of money, according to what the guy said. I still wasn't feeling quite right. So when I got up that morning, I started thinking about what I would say on this call, and I began to have a pain in my stomach that was ferocious. It was really bad, and I thought, I mean, I couldn't remember having a stomach ache that bad. I mean, it couldn't have been from anything different that I ate or drank or anything like that. But I was out of it. So I went and I told Lisa about this, and then I was going to look something up on the computer to see if that might help me, but I couldn't focus or concentrate. So I laid down on the couch, uh, and it was just aching and aching. And then I thought to myself, maybe I don't really want to do this. Oh, wait a minute. No, when I was on the computer, Lisa walked in and said, do you think this is a physical thing or an emotional thing? And she knows that for the last 50 plus years, I have been totally sold on the mind body connection, and that so much of the pains and aches and difficulties that we might have are based in an unconscious emotion, a strong emotion. Now, when she said that, I thought, oh, that's what it is. So I went and laid down on the couch. As I was laying there, I said, okay, I'm just going to call this guy back and say, no thanks. I get up, walk into the office to get on the phone, and the phone's ringing, and it's that guy, the young guy who's telling me when this other fellow is going to call me. And I say, you know what? We're gonna pass on it this time. It's a good deal. You were very good at how you explained it, and I praised him for that. I said, I just can't do it. He says, well, I've been doing this for quite a while, and I've run into situations where people get a gut feeling. And I said, I think you nailed it with the gut feeling. I told him, and actually, right when I got up from the couch, the feeling went away. The stomach ache was gone. I mean, there wasn't a trace of it. As soon as I got up and said, I'm going to call the guy and cancel it. Anyhow, that's one way it happens for me to get down there into how Baba gets me down into my feelings.
Great example.
Paula,
Oh yeah. What I want to know, Jeff, what was that quote you gave by Rumi?
You mean at the end of the arti?
No, you said the lover. Rumi says the
Oh,
lover
yeah.
is
The
like
lover of God is a wound without a shield.
a wound without a shield. Okay. I said
Welcome.
a wound without a shield. Okay.
Welcome to the wounded crowd. Yeah.
Without a shield. Okay. A wound without a shield.
Without a shield,
Okay.
without protection.
Okay. Okay. Without protection. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So shall we
Jeff, can
go
I just
on to the text? Oh, go ahead.
I was just thinking, when you are hurting very deeply in your heart, when something is really, really hurting you a lot, I think a lot of times we jump to the mind as a defense mechanism just to get away from the hurt, and it helps. I mean, then your thoughts are going round and round in your head, but you're not focusing that much on the hurt. It's like almost like a false defense mechanism, if you will. And after a lot of all that churning goes up on in your head and you get nowhere, you realize that the best and only solution to the problem is to give it to Baba. And that's what's always worked for me. So
Yeah.
thought I'd share. Yeah.
Yeah. Candy.
I just have, about about what Goer was saying. The simple proof of that, I think, is, for example, when somebody insults you, if you respond with your heart, you say to that person, "You hurt my feelings." But if you respond with your mind, you get angry.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you're more vulnerable when you respond with your heart. So you have to deal with that. You have to be able to be vulnerable, I think.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. I mean, if you go up in your head, you're protecting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you admit, ouch. I mean, one of the hardest things is to say, ouch.
I know. That's
That
right.
hurt.
That's
But
right.
that's the way the heart would respond if it were in charge, so to speak.
But
Yeah.
But the thing is that you get so much better reaction
Yes. And you get strong doing it that way.
from the person. Well, I have a hilarious short story. I did something with a friend of mine, and this friend turned to me and said, "You are the most selfish person I have ever met in my entire life." And I was just about to get angry, but then I went, "Oh." So I said to her, "Yeah, I know." I said, "I'm working on it." I said, "I'm working on it. I'm working on it." And she put her arm around me and she said, "Oh, you're not so bad." And then she started saying my good points. And she started listing my good points. So you see, I think you get a better reaction from the other person.
Yeah,
as well.
and you spoke right from your heart.
Yeah.
I'm working on that. I mean, that's an honest description of what's going on in you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
yeah. So anyway, like I say, it gives a better reaction also from the.
Yeah.
So you're good all around.
And it
do you
makes
have
you
anything else go here?
it just makes you a stronger person when you respond from the heart.
Yeah.
It ends up making you a stronger person in the end. Yes.
Yeah. And then I don't know if it was in this email or past one, you can't heal what you don't feel. I mean, I mean, giving it to Baba from the heart, feel it there rather than, fling something to Baba from your head. Oh, Baba, here's my worries. Really? You can just throw it like that? Okay.
So the
Jim.
deeper the feeling, the deeper the healing, right?
Oh, sorry, go here.
Yeah.
Yes, go here.
Oh, I was sorry. I'm done.
You're done? Okay, Jim?
Yeah, my started when Candy was talking about the idea of feeling like she was in a cage and unable to break free of the cage, and that reminded me of a sensation that I in a different way. Like things that have already been discussed, but the idea being, yeah, there's somebody says something or something that I didn't like, it didn't was offended by, and I wanted to react. My initial reaction was to, I could feel that anger kind of coming up, and but I stopped myself, stopping myself to go there because mainly I don't think so much for any other reason that I didn't think that Baba would want me to, and so
Jim, you're kind of breaking up a bit. I think you need to pay your electric bill again.
I think I lost. Am I still there?
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up a bit.
Oh yeah, I have a bad connection here today. All right, listen. Well, all I was going to say is in stopping the immediate reaction and saying I don't think Baba would want me to go there, that and that he would want me to not react in that way. I felt free. I felt free of being in that cage. That's what I wanted to say. That automatic reaction was the case. And it was only because I thought Baba wouldn't want me to do that, and that's and the sense of freedom. It kind of dismissed everything else that was happening. That feeling of being free of that reaction. That was felt triumphant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that line, goes something like this from the Course in Miracles. You are never upset for the reason you think. We're upset because we've been pulled out of the present moment, the fullness of the present moment. And instead of just getting back to the fullness of the present moment, we go and try to analyze why that upset me, but get back to the fullness of the present. But yeah.
Robert.
Yeah. When I have a conflict with somebody or I'm feeling troubled or confused, I turn to Baba with writing. It's something that I learned in two-way prayer, where I write out what I'm feeling conflicted with, and I ask Baba for guidance, and I ask Baba for help. But I open myself up to Baba in that way. Sometimes find it very helpful. And sometimes I guess I don't know whether sometimes it comes from my head, but I definitely feel a guidance. When I write it down on paper, I can just read it over again, and it just kind of cements it in my mind for me, what Baba wants for me. Anyway, it's
excellent. No, that a lot of journaling that happens here at the center. People trying to air their dirty laundry, Let's see. So let's go. Jaysima, can you display the book there? Is this the first? Where?
Yes, inner barometer.
Yes, inner barometer. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Oh yes.
Who's going to read?
Yes, I can't see anybody now.
Let's have Marion read.
Okay, good, Marion.
Oh, really? Okay. Now, can you hear me all right at this level?
Yeah.
Inner barometer. The individual has to determine what makes or fortifies veils over his or her own consciousness. At least we know from Baba's explanations what the goal is, and we can do a great deal toward helping our spiritual unfoldment, since we know where we are heading and what we must do and not do in order to make progress. We are conscious of what is going on within us, or we can be. We all have an inner barometer that tells us what darkens or lightens the heart and lifts or dissolves the veils, and we can check the barometer while things are happening within us. If whatever we are doing gives us a feeling of light, so that we can see more deeply within and have more spiritual insight, we know we are on the right track. But if our thoughts, words, or deeds make things more cloudy, more obscure and limited, we can see that something is trying to keep us bound to the gross level of consciousness, and that this is not to our advantage spiritually. So it is not a matter of reading books and going by certain exterior morals or formulas, but what we actually experience within our own self, our own consciousness. In other words, we can read our own experiences. We make choices as to what we will think, say, and do, and our insight gained from the good or bad consequences of those choices guides us. We can discover the right course to take all the time. We need to value the insight and inner strength that come to us through clearing away the veils. Mayor Baba says that more inner wisdom will be revealed to us in accordance with our fidelity to the insight we have. In other words, by respecting whatever insight we have and living by it, putting it into practice instead of ignoring it for pleasures or whatever else would preoccupy our consciousness, we will gain more insight. But if we continuously make bad choices, we make it harder for higher insights to be revealed to us. All these things vary with the individual, and we have to experiment with the concept we have.
Good. Anything to say to that? I mean that's kind of central to what Darwin would convey, is to monitor and be aware of what's going on at the heart level, because that is really moves us in our life. If we get on a negative emotion within it, and we don't kind of find a way to reroute it toward a more positive thing, you know, it makes our life difficult. What we do is binding. But anything to say? Would you describe your tracking yourself at the heart level kind of as an inner barometer? Does that metaphor kind of capture a part of what you're doing? Yeah, Candy.
Yeah, I would say absolutely. And I read something by Kitty Davy once that really, I just thought it was perfect. She said that Baba becomes lodged in your conscience.
In your conscience.
Yeah, well, in your consciousness, as your conscience.
Yeah.
And I said, that is so true. So your inner barometer is Baba. It's Baba. It's the simple things of, would Baba like me to do that? Would Baba not like that? So Baba is inextricably there. He is there. He will not go away. He won't leave you alone. Because whenever you do, when you think about that, you go, oh, no, simple little things like being in a department store and not looking at a piece of clothing and not putting it back on the hanger. So, no, seriously, I did that, then I go, no, if Baba were watching me, no, he wouldn't like that. So I put it back on the hanger. Little things like that, all these little things.
Yeah.
Constantly, Baba is lodged in your head, like in your conscience. He's become your conscience. That's how
Excellent.
I would say that.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. I like that. Because I've tried to find out what Baba said about conscience, and it's hard to find. He doesn't use that term that much, but here and there he does. But that's an excellent description of, next time I'm in a department store, I'll remember that.
And think about all the little things that you do. There's so many little things,
Yeah.
There are, there's just so many. And if you're really thinking about Baba, you think Baba wouldn't like that. There's so many, like, I don't know, just leaving something out or not paying attention to one little thing. If Baba were there, he'd be looking at you, he'd be going, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rich.
Beautifully expressed. Okay.
Yeah, Rich.
She made me think of something, but I'm going to stick to the main point here. That was good, Candy. Well, now what I'm going to say is not political. So hear that one, but it's about my character, my inner character. It's about exactly this, and it stretches into the next segment here too, groping to the light. It's all over the news, and this guy gets killed, and all of the impressions I've had around politics, public good, this and that, and started to come up in me, and my mind wants to integrate intellectual ideas, facts, history, anything I can analyze into all that, but then my emotions kind of pick up on that. And so I responded to a couple Facebook posts around this whole thing. And then I started thinking mainly about his wife and the two kids, being a mother, her whole family. But then became more than that. Then I began realizing that this was a part of me that's really difficult for me, because when I think I'm right about something, I want to be right, that's my ego. And so then I started thinking more about it. And then something bigger than that happened. And this is a little rare for me, I think. I started feeling really guilty, like the conscience thing that maybe part of that Candy talking. And I realized I cannot allow myself to be this way. This isn't going to cut it. I can't do it. I don't care what it is. I cannot go this route. So I talked to Bob about it, if you want to call it that. I said, Bob, I've got to correct this, what to do. And I said, I'm going to absolutely not respond to anything about this with anyone, anywhere. That's it. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And it wasn't to repress it or hide. It was to not indulge in my rational form of thought about what I think is moral, good and bad, right or wrong, the whole human thing in the world. And then I started but I really had to make amends. I mean, in that sense, almost in the 12-step program type of stuff, because I was wrong in really embracing these ideas, which are not a part of loving God. It's just not. And I could feel it, but it's at a deeper level than most of the time, for me. So somehow it's a part of my character. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
Rich, that
Beautiful.
was so beautiful. That was
Yeah.
Hey,
really right on.
It was.
hey, before we go on, that photograph you have behind you there, can you put that on the big screen? Because one thing that Darwin said about this moment, is it possible to make it, what do you call it? What's the thing? The view? Spotlight the view?
Jacima has to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacima, can you make that the full screen there? Because Darwin said that that Baba shrunk way down and they all got large. And you can see, I mean, Darwin is there. I think you can see him there with on the right. But Baba there, it's very unusual. They said Baba became very small and they all got larger. I don't know if you see that, but
Yeah.
Baba
Yeah.
looks like that doesn't normally look as not normally how Baba looks. But he's almost like put his life, his love and energy into all of the men standing there.
Yeah.
My
And that's
God,
something.
you're right. I never saw that
I think
before.
it looks like that to me too.
It
Yeah,
almost looks like he was photoshopped in.
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And that's
Yes.
just, and it's
Okay.
just some of the
Oh,
things that they would describe. I know Jean Shaw said at one time Baba was walking away from her and near the original kitchen, and he stayed the same size as he walked away. He didn't get smaller as he went. So certain phenomenon would happen, and here it actually came out on the camera,
Wow.
showed up. Anyway, go ahead. We'll go on.
That was
I'm
great.
yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Sabine,
So this session and the last, I think, I was thinking about choice points a lot, because what I'm hearing from Darwin is that there is a point where I can make a choice, either mentally or in my heart. And so I've been monitoring my emotions, I think mostly my emotions, yeah. And I find that on days when I'm really aligned to Baba, I can observe myself that I'm going into a desire or into an emotion, and I do have a choice to sort of guide myself away from it. But there are days when I'm in a space where sort of I'm on the running rogue train that we read 2 chapters ago, and there has been no choice point. There has not even been consciousness that I was there or where I was going or if I wanted to go there with anger. So is it just keep going, giving things to Baba, and eventually I will always be in a space where I have that choice point? Because I find myself that there are many situations where I just don't. Sort of wake up on the running train going rogue.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the more you can slow the operation down, you get some love that comes in there that then gives you a choice between this thing and that thing. But if the emotion is pretty much swallows up everything, it's hard to, you're almost stuck with the emotion running its course. You know, I don't know, that's kind of my experience. I mean, love is what gives us the choice, or Baba, getting some space there. But sometimes our consciousness is so enmeshed in the emotion that there's no breathing room for anything other than the polluted air of your emotion, so to speak. Yeah, but so you find that sometimes it just takes you over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no choice point. There wasn't even an awareness that it's happening, and then sort of in the middle of it happening, I'm thinking, wow, what am I doing here? How did this happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Ron.
No, that's good though. That I mean, and I think this book will help in dealing with that kind of situation. I mean, even just bringing the awareness down to the heart level, you get just a little bit more space to make choices that align with our deeper part of ourself, like you say.
I was
Okay.
reminded, I was reminded of something about what Candy was talking about, the conscience and and having it come up and play a part in small things. And it reminded me of one of my favorite and most memorable parts of Bal Natu's book called Conversations with the Awakener. I believe it was the first volume of, I think, five books he had on that. They're all very good, by the way. If you haven't read them, I recommend them. But so the awakener is talking to the writer, which in this case is Balnatu, and he says that you want to remember me. He says, remember me, and and particularly remember me in small things, and even more than that, remember me in smaller things. And most important is to remember me in the smallest things. And that really struck me because, and I was trying to figure out why that was being recommended. And it seems to me that the ego is much more apt to get attached to big things than it is small things. So by focusing on small things and remembering him in those small things, we are actually probably doing more good for lessening the ego's way of taking over,
Yeah.
and so be happy with that because if you think about it, if you do something that's really big, you get all excited about it, and the ego thrives. So small
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Great point. Gabriella?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jay Baba. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to read something, little thing from Sri Ramakrishna, because this is in response to the idea about choice points and how busy we get. And I just thought it really spoke to
Yeah.
me. So it starts like this: Bhakti Yoga, God, give me knowledge, give me devotion, and reveal thyself to me. O God, make my duties fewer and fewer, and may I, through thy grace, do the few duties that you give me without any attachment to them, to the results. May I have no desire to be involved in many activities. Shri Ramakrishna.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, and boy, he's talking, he's not talking to this country.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Fill it up.
Jim?
Oh,
A second, Candy. I heard Jim. You can go.
Yeah, hey, yeah, I'm just thinking of that runaway train that we were just talking about is just being discussed. This idea of being on a runaway train, wake up one morning and the train's going and we're not. And that I think is, I think there's only one solution to that, which would be to call on Baba when you realize you're out of the train is being, running away.
Yes.
You're in danger, so call him. Look at his picture, concentrate on his image. Just try to, ask him for Baba, help me, Baba. I'm on a I'm on a runaway train here. I mean, it happens. I know exactly what you. Some days that's what it feels like. So yeah, I think we have the opportunity, I guess, in that moment, if we have that at least that glimpse of consciousness, which hopefully this is what you're talking about. You get that sense.
yeah. And, like Baba says, if you're like, find yourself in anger, you can also move toward patience and tolerance, that part of you that's a response rather than a reaction. Everything has a loving counterpart. If we can also move over into that part of our better angels, which is, our conscience is kind of trying to get us to head to a better place.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why Baba wants us to remember him, because aren't we in our hearts if we're saying Baba's name?
Yeah, I would say.
That's a direct line then. Candy, what do you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there's a quote of Baba, which I like, which kind of goes along with what we're saying. So he says, from where you stand, there is always a choice of moving into light or darkness.
Yeah.
So,
There's
always
another
a
line
choice.
similar. Don't you see your life has already been scripted, and the only choice you have is whether you live it for yourself or you live it for me.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean,
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of lays it out kind of
Yeah,
graphically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go on to the next section.
Paula, do you want to read? Miss Paula?
She's off the grid, I think.
She is? I just saw her picture. Okay. Jennifer, wait, is Jennifer there?
Jennifer's listening in.
Okay.
Oh,
Jeff,
I'm here. I'm here. Paula is here.
Okay, Paula, go ahead.
But I don't know if I can see the words. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Do you want to pass or try it?
I'll try it if I can see where it is.
You're on your phone, right?
I'm on my phone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little hard on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah, the print. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should pass then.
Okay.
Right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you for asking me though.
Absolutely.
Can read.
Yes, very good. Whoever that is, go ahead.
Groping toward the light.
Oh, Sabine, okay, good.
Working through our unique sanskaras to dissolve veils and substitute real values requires one-pointed focus. By working within and concentrating our focus more upon God or Baba within, we draw the added assistance of the Master's divine love and grace to help us see the differences between values at inner levels. Knowing all of our weaknesses, our karma, and our sanskaras, Baba guides us through experiences that will help us understand and see through the things that allure and trap us into more Mayavic activities. Therefore, instead of reacting to Maya, we are able to let go of Maya through understanding. We make our choices, and through the experience of the light within, compared to the darkness we experience otherwise, those choices are not hard to make. Fortunately, we are not groping in the dark, but groping toward the light. It is difficult to penetrate the sanskaric barriers and see that divine light is constantly flowing within. For years, we are just going on phase and do not seem to be getting anywhere. Then suddenly, like someone digging a long tunnel, we begin to break through to the light. We must try to live in the light and get used to it now. We have to want to change our inner environment to one where we no longer need to take incarnation. This means less attachment to the dark and more to the light. We must now set the furniture in the room in which we want to live in the future. As we grow in strength and begin to experience more of truth than of falsehood, we become more daring to proceed toward the light. Then, as we continue working, tearing the veils, clearing out the dirt, our consciousness can become lighter and clearer, less vague, less cloudy, less filled with cobwebs. We can be more and more aware of reality, not just to see it in the distance, but to realize ourselves as that reality.
Anything to say to that? It's amazing. I mean, how, a lot of these things that we're reading, we smuggled a tape recorder in, and some of these are things he just spoke in the present. It just kind of came out of him.
Yes, Paula.
Well, it just is coming up for me. I am like the durable power of attorney for my ex-husband. And so he's no longer living with me. And I had to set some limits a while ago because he was getting a bit abusive, and it was very, very difficult. And I just have, he's in a nursing home right now, and then so I had to go to a medical appointment with him last week. And it's like it's just amazing how all of a sudden, when I was with him at that appointment, I was just realizing how, look at his life right now. I mean, I had such a compassion for his circumstance, just seeing how, I mean, can you imagine that he's like living in a nursing home right now, and how difficult that must be? And no, what I mean, he's lost all semblance of, you know, um, independence and all of that. And it's just something that is just coming up for me, that there's a way of like looking at people from a different lens.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just am just so grateful that I did set a limit with him. I said, Andy, you've got to be, I can't be abused. When I go into a doctor's appointment with you, I'm doing this because this is what this program that you're in right now. I'm supposed to accompany you to medical appointments, but you have to be kind to me. Absolutely have to be kind to me. So just that whole way about looking at things. Anyway, I don't know if this makes any sense, but I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
just a different whole way of viewing a situation.
Yeah,
So
and the fact that you're still hanging in there, that's love winning over your reaction, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, lovely.
I think that's a thing that Bob was touching us, like what happened with Rich. Rich had that moment where Bob had just touched it, and then you, Paula, Bob had just touched you and you saw it a different way. I think that's what Bob is doing with all of us in different circumstances,
Right.
little things, but those little things are big things.
Very big. Yeah.
Sabine, your hands up.
Yeah, when I was reading, I just thought that is exactly the answer I needed to hear.
Which was what?
I said earlier.
Yeah.
Particularly the first part of the text I just read, was for me like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, kind of changed course.
Darwin wrote it for you. That's good, Sabine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me I'm writing this for Sabine, even though I don't know her yet, but she'll be.
It really felt like it. He was like, okay, yeah, I just had this question and here's my answer.
Yeah. Hey, so I see that we're getting up to 11 o'clock. Should we do another one, or shall we? Let's see. Let's see what the next, what Darwin says in the next section. Oh yeah, it's the very last, the end of the chapter.
Bob, do you want to read?
Sure.
Thank you.
Freedom fighters. We all want to be free, and once we have tasted some measure of freedom, we become rebellious and no longer want to submit to the tyranny of vacant dreams, illusions, and false imaginings. We become willing to work toward greater freedom and to fight in order to remain free. That is what we are doing in our lives, working to feel and retain that experience of freedom. We have to exercise control, not be loose cannons. We can easily have control over our thoughts by asserting love, the pure love in the heart. Our inner vision clears when we do this, but we have to want to do this, be willing to do this. The main object is to change what kind of music is being played by the heart, materialistic buzzing or the music of the spirit. When When we learn to exercise control, and especially as we begin to live our lives in the context of the truth, rather than through our sanskaras, unused centers such as the heart center begin to be activated within us. When the heart center becomes activated, love begins to flow more and more, and we are able to assert freedom, the freedom of the spirit. Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember back when I was young, and Darwin would use the phrase "the tyranny of the mind." I never thought of that. But he would say that you have to, try to deal with the tyranny of the mind. Okay, Rich.
This can be short, but I think I really feel like I'm in this place right now. But what I found is I still want to hold on to the things that I've built into my Chaitanya, like I love cars. Okay, well, I wonder what kind of engine that car has. And then I get rolling along with this whole thing of my attachment, my love for vehicles or mechanical things, It's pretty easy for me to do that. And then there's dogs. I love dogs. Dogs are amazing to me. And I'm more than, it's a lot of freedom to relate to dogs that I don't always experience directly with human beings. And so, but it's so easy to go from the dog to the human being that owns the dog. And then I'm in a whole world that involves much more. But the problem is that I know that in this, what Baba calls Chaitanya, I've spent a lot of time building up my ego, my ability to work on mechanical things and try to analyze real great physics. And so then what? I need to go to Baba. But once I start feeling trapped, it's like, I don't care what it is. I've got to have some Baba juice. Got to have Baba juice. That freedom. But it just happens all the time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Virginia.
I was just thinking that in this last year, Bob has thrown a lot of really big experiences my way. And, I had moments where I was really experiencing the sanskaras of them, but then also have had moments where I could accept that those sanskaras were what this soul drop needed in this lifetime to be able to unwind some and come closer to Baba. And that every time I can feel it that way, I just feel gratitude to him. And I've been a little bit more lately living in that gratitude rather than in the runaway train. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, there's a line from Baba: take it as a blessing or take it as a test. Whatever happens, happens for the best. But yeah. Good. And do you happen to have a poem that you have written recently, or?
I mean, I have written many recently. I didn't have one planned for today, but do you want me to see what comes up?
Yeah, see what comes up.
Let's see, I can pull them up pretty fast. Hang on just a second. This has never been edited, but it's the first one that popped up. So I don't know if it's apropos or not. We are made of multitudes, lifetimes past and present, generations come and gone, energy streams that once were the body of a plant or an animal, now powering the cells within us. But you say that's just ideas. And the real reality is that I am a me, a single one human living my solitary life. I have to strive to survive amongst these others who are all fighting for my light, my nourishment. Look at that body that you think is so inviolable. Everywhere there is community, from the microbiome of your skin and mucous membranes to the bacteria that fill your gut sac. Tens of trillions of cells that are not you but compose you. And all of them, living their tiny lives, allow you to live yours. They protect you, they transform your food so that you can use it. Sometimes they slip out of balance, it's true, but the arc is toward cooperation, each a life raft for the other. You are not a one, but a many amongst an even more. constantly in interplay with the environment around you, from the quirkiest elementary particles to the kaleidoscope of life within your bounds, the cooperation of systems that sustain your existence, and the concentric clouds of community expanding from your center. With all that togetherness, you could never be truly alone, so why even try? And if you feel lost and despondent, maybe a meditation on the shimmering rainbow within and without can dispel just an iota of your existential despair. You and your bacteria praying together in the temple of your fantastically interwoven body, life bursting with life.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, Eris used to say, this whole world is yours, but you have to claim it. Become huge. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Bob.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. That phrase, the tyranny of the mind, just really strikes me, because when I don't know how to bring the heart into that when that happens. I mean, when the smallest thing goes wrong, whether it's a small thing or whether it seems a big thing, like my washing machine giving up yesterday, I mean, the mind wants to take over and just make this huge thing out of it. Oh, what do I do now? Will I get that? Where can I find one that'll fit where it's supposed to fit? Do I need to redo the electricity? What about the plumbing? Do I need to redo the plumbing? Oh my, I mean, how do I bring the heart to something? It's one thing. Yes, I can try to give it to Baba with my mind and just say, mind, just shut up. We will solve this. This is a small thing. In 2 weeks, it's not even going to exist anymore. Just shut up. Don't think about it. I mean, so how to allow the heart some room there to deal with just ridiculous stuff that really, I mean, I can see with my mind that it's useless and futile and absurd to get into this train, but there it is. So,
Yeah. And what I gather from Darwin and Erich is to find the emotion that's feeding those thoughts and then go there. That was their, that way the minds, the thoughts kind of diminish, but then you get stuck feeling the disturbing emotion.
well,
But at
exactly,
least,
because
huh?
it just keeps coming up and up and up and up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anita?
Yeah, I can really relate to that, Bob. Just like the getting stuck in that rumination and trying to solve. And yeah, I wanted to comment on the tyranny of the mind too, but basically it's, yeah, you just get stuck in it. But what I'm finding is I'm getting less and less tolerant of it. Like I used to think of how I used to just put up with being in my mind, and now it's so painful. Like and I guess that's a good thing, but it's like that pain, that suffering of being stuck in the rumination is what brings you down to the heart, and you just call for help. And that's when the floodgates open for me. And I feel like I've never cried so much as in these last few years, and it's always to Baba, but then that's what brings the love, and that's what helps him hold me and helps it all dissolves and allows me to essentially, I guess that's the giving, is through feeling that. But man, I just can't believe how much crying is involved sometimes. And yeah, just how not tolerant. And then you hear the narrative sometime of the judging mind, which is like, oh, you should be able to, like, why are you crying so much, and you should be able to put up with this. And then it's like, yeah, there's just this battle sometimes, or the mind wants to pick a fight, and it's like, but when you really just stay in that vulnerable place and you stay with it long enough, then you can see it's like the drops falling into the ocean. And but it's hard without Baba's help. Like you
Oh.
yeah, you need him.
you know, what's nice is that you in the mind it's like living in a shack, and in the heart it's like living in the spacious mansion. And you just, you know, how long can you stay in that dump of a trailer? And you know, I mean, built into the system, we want to go down and live in a mansion. I mean, we can tolerate only so much of the cramped space of the mind, and then we want to go to the wide open, whatever, land, panorama of the heart. Yeah.
Candy, last thing, Candy?
Okay, I just wanted to address what Bob was saying. So I don't like being unhappy. And I noticed in life quite a while ago that what makes you unhappy is resistance. Resistance is key. So you feel unhappy when your washing machine goes or whatever because you have resistance to what's going on. So my advice is to try to get rid of resistance. Do not resist things as they are. So you sort of like do the next thing. You know, oh, okay, now this is broken. Oh, right, well, now I'll just go fix it. And on you go, you know, and then the next thing happens, and then the next thing happens, and oh, okay, this happened. Okay, well, I'll just go do that then. And so you go. So resistance is what makes you unhappy. I just know that. I'm sure about that. So stop resisting.
Yeah.
Don't resist. Don't resist things. Go with the flow. Oh, the washing machine. Okay. We'll just go fix that. Oh, this. Oh, that. All right. Next.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, Mark
There's an
Twain's definition.
equation. Sorry, there's an equation. It's either stress or pain times resistance equals suffering.
Oh,
so if resistance is zero, then suffering.
Yeah, exactly. It's right. That's
Say that
right.
again, Anita.
It's like stress times resistance equals suffering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, yeah, I love that. Oh, I like that. To write it down.
Yeah, what Mark Twain's saying, life, his definition of life is just one damn thing after another.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Hey, so we're at the end here, and I asked Bob to read. This is a description that Darwin has given of being in Baba's presence. And then if we can have a few moments of silence afterwards.
Okay, this is from On Sacred Ground, Volume 2. And it begins, music programs were held in the West Room on Baba's birthday in 1925 and during a gathering in 1955. On a few occasions during the men's Sahavas in 1954, Baba gathered the men around him in the West Room, giving discourses and instructions. Of their last visit with him, Darwin Shaw later wrote, quote, "No more need for anything, but only to sit and gaze upon his lovely being. Baba sat there like a beautiful flower. Waves of love just flowed from him. The room became love's sanctuary. There was nothing but an endless, measureless beyond of pure, sweet, beautiful, timeless love. It was so glorious." End quote.
Okay, let's have a few moments. Jai Baba. Let me ask Dan Sparks, anything to add here? Anything that comes to mind?
Oh, It's well, it's been another rich visit for me. I everything that has been said has kind of touched on what I've been experiencing. It seems more and more lately, and I've been reading it in different places besides Baba literature. But it's really, as has been said already this evening, some of these things, they're really, really hard to put into words. They're very difficult to kind of express them because they're subtle and they're deep uh, and I don't know that I can get to it. I've been thinking about it throughout the last hour or so, listening and uh, wondering what I would say and how I would say it. But I guess the one thing I will say is that this business of, for me, remembering where Baba has said from time to time, and one quote, I have it written down, but I can't tell you exactly where it came from right now. But he actually said these very words, although I have to paraphrase. He said, if you can't do this, you can't do that, what we've been talking about, so on, do this one thing. Whenever you're thinking something or whatever you're doing, but even just your thoughts, think it's Baba doing it. Baba's doing it. And I've read that, or I was familiar with that over years. From time to time, I would come across Baba telling people to give that experience to him. Well, anyway, most recently, it came to me that my very consciousness is his consciousness. It's not mine. It belongs to Baba. All consciousness is. And in oneness of being, each one of our individual consciousness is his. And he's just telling us this is the reality. And what you think is you, that's not even there. So anyway, I've been meditating on that off and on as often as possible, and it's making a big impact on me. So
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow, that's good. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, because consciousness is Baba.
Mhm.
But what we do is we always talk about the object of consciousness,
yes,
and we're so into the object of consciousness, but it's hard to focus on consciousness itself. I remember Marwan Jesawala saying, when you become conscious of consciousness,
yeah,
that's the goal.
there you go.
And not the object, but the
Yeah.
consciousness is that's God, but nobody can define consciousness, you know what I mean? It's just anyway. Um, I don't think we have Nasreen here. I think she's.
How about a quote from Goher?
Oh,
Yes,
Nasreen
she's
is there.
here.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
a quote from Goer, and then we're gonna get Nasreen.
Okay.
So I have a quote on Maya. We talked about Maya just in our reading today.
Yeah.
Baba says, just as darkness becomes invisible in sunlight, though it is present there, God is invisible to those who are in the darkness of Maya, though he is present in all places at all times.
Yeah, run that one by again. Yeah.
Right. Just as darkness becomes invisible in sunlight, though it is present there, God is invisible to those who are in the darkness of Maya, though he is present in all places at all times.
Yeah, that reminds me. I mean, what I kind of wrote there in that email, when consciousness, which is when the tentacles of consciousness are buried in Maya in the world, it darkens it. When it gets withdrawn, it fills up with light, and that's what Darwin did. I mean, his consciousness was kind of pulled out of being enmeshed in the world, and it fills up with love and light and bliss. You know, that's what's awaiting us when we can kind of kick kick creation out of our house, so to speak.
Can I offer something to Bob?
Yeah.
Which is that Baba, at present, you may have noticed this washing machine of yours isn't working. Maybe it will later.
Ron, say that again.
At present, your washing machine isn't working.
Oh, quite so.
He's giving you Baba's perspective on your experience.
Right.
Yeah, and what helps is I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
That's Baba's washing machine.
And you know, I've been kind of using that, thinking that, you know, Baba, this is Baba thinking this, and this is Baba trying to deal with this. And so I'll just kind of let it take its time and it'll get in. And it really does help, you know, until the tentacles want to sort of take over.
Until you need clean clothes, especially.
Until you have to write the check.
Oh, yeah.
Don't
Hey,
you
well-
don't you joke with Baba sometimes? Sometimes when things happen, I go, "Nice one, Baba."
Yeah, I do.
Thanks. That was
Nice
so,
one.
Baba, that was so untimely. Hey, anyway, folks, we'll see. I'm going to try to write up something as how Darwin kind of, in his very unassuming way, kind of introduced us to giving ourselves to Baba at the heart level. I'll see if I can find a way to put it into words. But it was interesting how it unfolded with him. Anyway.
I appreciate you so much, Jeff. I mean, this is just like so delicious.
Yeah, it's really wonderful to hear all the different camera angles on the things that we have to deal with on a regular basis, and it's really, I really appreciate it myself. Yeah.
Jeff, before you go, Paula, I tried to get a hold of you, but your email box is totally full, and maybe you don't know that.
You know, I'm getting a new phone that has twice as much storage.
Okay, I just want you to know I tried to email you, but I couldn't get through.
Yeah.
Well, I have another email. Can I just put that in the chat? I have another email.
Sure, you could just, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Okay. We're gonna end right now.
Okay.
Okay, folks, you put it in there and
Nasreen.
Oh yeah, we got to find Nasreen now. Where is
Yes,
she?
I'm right here waiting for you.
Okay, good.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Jai Baba.
Wow.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Yeah, her voice reminds me, the spirit of her voice reminds me of Mara.
Oh, thank you.
Mara's voice, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeff, thank you for a great meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys all. Go on, have a good
Bye.
life and succeed.
Jai Baba.
And
everybody.
Dinesh, nice to see you. Yeah.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba,
Baba.
everybody. Yeah.
Jai
Jai
Baba. Good night,
Baba.
everyone.
Jai Baba. Good night. Jai Baba.
Good night.
I
Good night. Dinku.